This is Kelly Hill, Executive Editor at RCR Wireless News. I'm here today with Alon Segal, who is Chief Technology Officer at Telit. How are you doing?
Doing very well.
Good, great to have you here. Tell us a little bit about Telit as a starter.
Sure. Telit is a pioneer in what we call IoT. In fact, we've been doing IoT since before it's been called IoT. We've been around since about 2000, so 18 years experience in connecting things, data, to the enterprise. Deeply rooted in hardware. We've made all kinds of cellular modules, connectivity, taking that through all the way providing virtual networking offerings, so Telit can partner and connect your devices anywhere on the globe with a single bill and a single ability to control and manage those devices, all the way to the application enablement pieces, so providing the software hooks to connect that to your SAP, to your ERP, to whatever systems that consume and use the data.
So IoT, I think it's fair to say, has come a long way since the days when it was machine-to-machine learning, or machine-to-machine, really, just communications. What opportunity does Telit see in IoT now and going forward?
Well, the fun stuff is it's finally is happening now. We've been talking about IoT for so long. It's really, kind of all this hype. Where's the reality? And the fun stuff is you see this everywhere now. You cannot talk to anybody from the Fortune 500 companies to SMBs that don't recognize that to stay competitive, to stay compliant, they have to have access to real-time data. The other exciting thing is that for the first time, the connectivity world has split. We have this bifurcated offering. On the one hand, we have these demand for high bandwidth, high connectivity devices like Cradlepoint, our sponsor here today. And on the other hand, we have a revolution and finally true offerings in low power, wide area devices. So these are connected meters, battery operated devices in the field, which we finally have true cellular offerings that we can sprinkle out there. So we see tons of opportunities that really span the industry, whether it's in the energy markets, healthcare markets, connected enterprise, coming in together to look for solutions. They're not looking for just another module or hardware device. They're looking at partners that can enable their vision for how their enterprise needs to work in the 21st century. So exciting times.
Absolutely. Can you talk about some of the exciting things that you've seen in real life?
Sure. It's the mundane that makes it interesting. We have a great partnership with a number of robotics players that do things like robotic lawnmowers. You wouldn't think of these, like, the little Roombas you see for the vacuum cleaners at home. Same principle, outdoors for your lawn. And you think of these devices, they need connectivity, they need to be controlled, they need to be accessible. So, that's one measure of this. You see lots of activities, with the connected car and mobility driving. You see the demand for high-end connectivity and bandwidth, as we see with Cradlepoint's devices, and bringing lots of services that used to be over fiber or other connections, accessible at gigabit internet speeds. So all this is happening now.
Okay, so let's talk about going forward. Cellular networks are about to take another generational jump here that's well underway in terms of research and development and tests and trials. 5G. What opportunity do you folks see in the 5G ecosystem, and what do you bring to that ecosystem?
So again, 5G is, one of these misnomers. What is 5G? Kind of like IoT, can I order 2 kilos of red IoT? Underlying 5G is this principle of a unified fabric connecting 3 separate use cases. We're talking about enhanced mobile broadband, so higher speeds, higher capacity. Yeah. We're talking about ultra-low latency, so envisioning the planing cars and the braking scenario where we really don't have time for a latent signal to propagate. And we're talking about massive IoT. So in and of themselves, each of these domains is covered by stuff we're doing today. But bringing them all together where they can share the network resources efficiently and cost effectively is the challenge. And that's the story of 5G. So it's not about a killer app, but it's enabling all of these to work together. And in that sense, you begin to see some of this stuff right now. whether it's high bandwidth, video conferencing, anything that demands high quality video, remote presence, hazardous environments. We've got a volcano going up in Hawaii right now, right? So can you imagine, instead of having people on the ground trying to explore things, having drones or elements being able to serve hazardous environments? Great examples. So that's one driver of this. The ultra-low latency piece, again, connects to the ability to remotely operate, but also to sensitive operations. The mobility aspects of it are a given. I mean, the automotive industry that talks to us about autonomous driving, this is a prerequisite, that and cellular V2X. And of course, the ongoing evolution of low power wide area will utilize all that to create this billions of connected devices that we're eagerly waiting for. All that, is coming together. And it's not happening in a vacuum, because the evolution to that world is happening right now. 4G, advanced LTE is really the foundational elements that we're delivering now that will enable you to do that next step forward.
Okay. Great. Well, Alon, thank you so much for your time and perspective.
All right. I'm looking forward to an interesting day here.